So the PTR for Season 4 of Diablo 4 is currently playable, but as we've gone over before, this PTR does not include the Season 4 theme. Everything on the PTR and all of the information we have for Season 4 is currently just permanent overhauls to the game. So itemization changes, Codex of Power changes, new endgame content, overhauls to endgame content such as Helltides, all of this stuff is permanent additions to the game that will be in Season 4, but will also be on the Eternal Realms. So we haven't gotten any official information on the actual Season 4 theme and new content and systems coming with Season 4, but because Season 4 is on the PTR, there's been some data mining that can clue us in a little bit to what the Season 4 theme may be. And there's actually a few different parts of this because there's been multiple different things data mined that kind of point to two separate different elements. Now the first one being data mined splash images for the cosmetics coming with the Battle Pass. So when a new season is announced, we get all the splash screens and screenshots and images of a bunch of the new cosmetics coming with the Battle Pass, and the cosmetics of the Battle Pass always play in to the seasonal theme. At least a lot of the armor pieces and weapons do. And starting off, we have a handful of images showing what seems to be the free armor cosmetics. Every Diablo 4 Battle Pass has had a full set of armor cosmetics that aren't really armor pieces. They don't look like armor. They more look like clothing. So they give a much different aesthetic. This one is actually a lot more intricate and seems to be more nature-based. And then we have a pretty long list of weapon cosmetics. First off, being a pretty large chunk of cosmetics that seem to be hell-inspired. They're mostly red and dark blacks. The background that the image is on is all red, kind of looks like they're in hell. And this is the majority of the weapon skins. The majority of them are these more hell-inspired ones. Then we have a handful of weapon cosmetics that are nature themed, just like the free armor sets. So these seem like they're going to be the free weapon cosmetics. And then we also have a handful of holy inspired cosmetics that look like they're almost the exact opposite of the hell infused ones. They're kind of blue and gold and white. The background is more of like a light smoke. These seem to be more holy or heaven based weapon cosmetics. But then we get to one of the most interesting parts that drew me to a different system that was being made for Diablo 4 when it was first revealed. And this is two different mounts and mount armor cosmetics. One of them being a glowing red horse where you can see its full skeleton, obviously seems to be more hell or demon inspired. Then we have a full like ethereal holy based horse and armor set. So they're complete opposites of each other. And it seems to be going for a heaven and hell aesthetic. And then finally we have a handful of mount trophies, a few being that hell inspired. Then you also have one nature inspired and one holy inspired. And as mentioned, the battle passes always follow the theme of the season. The developers actually talked about this before Diablo 4 release, that all of the battle passes will be specifically themed around that seasonal theme or seasonal aesthetic. So it seems like this season in some way is going to have a heaven and hell inspired aesthetic. Now, after seeing this, the first thing I thought of is a system that was being designed for Diablo 4 when it was first revealed that ended up being scrapped, and that is an angelic power and demonic power affix system that again was shown off back in like 2019. Basically, there would be different stats or affixes that were either demonic power or angelic power that would unlock more effects or more power through pieces of gear, through other affixes. And it seemed to change a few different times. When they first showed it, it almost seemed to be like you were kind of going more angelic or going more demonic, and there might be more effects or elements tied into that. But then they seemed to change it to where it was just different modifiers for affixes. Like you could get angelic power affixes or through other systems in the game, and angelic power would increase the duration of all beneficial effects on you. So like buffs or healing. Then you have demonic power, which you can get in the same way from other affixes or other systems. And demonic power would increase the duration of negative effects like debuffs on enemies or damage over time. But then this would be tied into other affixes on pieces of gear, because certain affixes would require, say, a demonic power of 50, and then certain affixes would maybe require an angelic power of 50. So you would have to get these angelic or demonic powers to actually be able to use certain affixes that may give much more substantial stat increases or buffs compared to normal affixes. Now, as mentioned, this system and idea was scrapped, but the idea of going either more angelic or more demonic as an idea not specifically tied to stats or affixes could be really cool for a seasonal theme. Diablo is already kind of based around hell fighting heaven and sanctuary kind of being in the middle, obviously being created by a demon and an angel. So that overarching idea is already a pretty big part of Diablo, but having that being a gameplay system could be very interesting, especially since we're going into a season to where if this wasn't really liked, you just wouldn't bring it forward into future seasons, or you wouldn't permanently add any elements of the season. But a really cool idea for the theme of a season. There's a second part to Season 4 data mining with the possibility of Iron Wolves being involved in Season 4, because we got a big data mined emblem of the Iron Wolves. We got some emblems showing that there's going to be some seasonal element based around the Iron Wolves. Even in the PTR right now, there are actually Iron Wolf NPCs roaming around in Helltides that you'll find facing demons that are friendly to you, and some people have obtained some Wolf's Honor within the Helltide in the PTR, so that seems to be a new reputation based around the Iron Wolves. And then we also have some data mined pieces of gear, like an Iron Wolf's offhand, some rare Iron Wolf boots, and Iron Wolf messenger boots. Then we surprisingly have some legendary necklaces that are both tied to Iron Wolves with their own flavor text on them. Now, none of these items have actual stats on them, and we don't know how any of these work, but going off the flavor text of all of these items, it seems like all of this Iron Wolf data mining is specifically tied to Helltides, and it seems like you're getting additional items from demons, bringing them back to the Iron Wolves, and they're basically crafting you different gear that seems to not just be cosmetic, they also seem to have some amount of effects on them. Maybe it's just more ways to get more gear, or maybe these Iron Wolf pieces of gear are going to have special effects on them. And then to go along with all this, there's also a reputation system with a bunch of rewards tied to them. So something similar to the Blood Harvest reputation, or the reputation we've gotten with all of the limited time events we've gotten. So whatever new content or elements there are, you do those, you'll get reputation, then you'll get a bunch of rewards, usually some cosmetics. And these reputation rewards are actually giving you tons of different stuff. They're giving you all of this different Iron Wolf gear. So you get like captain's gloves, you get cases with just random Iron Wolf gear, you get Iron Wolf amulets, Iron Wolf boots, you get Iron Wolf resources, other Iron Wolf weapons, different cases that give you a bunch of Helltide materials. And the final one is a bit odd because it says a vial container filled with decayed flesh, rotten eggs, and repulsive items. The Iron Wolves are very glad you want these. So it seems like there's a pretty large mix of very specific items tied to the Iron Wolves and also tied to Helltides. Now, when looking over all of this data mined information, I have two possible ideas for the theme of Season 4. First off being that the theme is just going to be following this heaven and hell element, like the data mined battle pass cosmetics show, and it's going to be new systems and new content specifically based around this light and dark heaven and hell elements, and that all of this Iron Wolf information is some other maybe limited time event that will be added sometime within Season 4. It's seeming like with every new season, the developers do want to do at least some limited time event that gives you some more content to do later in the season. So this could possibly be that. You would have the light and dark, heaven and hell as a main seasonal theme. Then like a month down the road, we would get this Iron Wolf event, maybe limited time, maybe just like a permanent addition to the game that is very heavily tied into the new overhauled Helltides that just gives you more things to do while in the Helltides, new reputations, new cosmetics, maybe new items that maybe have different stats because they seem to be specific to Iron Wolves. So the first general idea is the Iron Wolf stuff is not specifically tied to the Season 4 theme. Now the second idea may be a little bit more expansive because as we went over, we know that the Battle Pass seasonal cosmetics are directly tied to the seasonal theme and seasonal aesthetic. So we know there's gonna be something tied around demons or maybe around angels, or maybe this is more tied to light and dark. However they're going about this, these cosmetics will be in some way very tied to the seasonal theme. So we know that, and we know that as a fact. This has been stated by the developers. In some way, the theme is going to follow these cosmetics, or the cosmetics are going to follow the theme. But in the second idea, the Iron Wolves are also a part of this season. They're not a limited time event, and this is just another element of the season. Because as mentioned, these Iron Wolves and all of this reputation canon items are all very specifically tied to Helltide. Even the flavor text on a lot of the pieces of gear mention these are crafted from demon skins from Helltides. So all of this stuff is in Helltides. You'll find Iron Wolf NPCs in Helltides. It seems like these Iron Wolves are specifically targeting Helltides. And this would actually go with Iron Wolf's lore. The Iron Wolves are a mercenary group, but unlike a lot of other mercenary groups that will switch allegiances based on whoever's paying them, the Iron Wolves are much more noble and kind of fight to protect your everyday people. So it would make sense that these Helltides are cropping up all around the world and demons are popping out and killing everybody. It would make sense that this noble mercenary group would target these Helltides to try to protect as many people as possible. So when you combine this with the dark or demon or hell-inspired cosmetic items from the battle pass, that could be one side of the season. But then we have the more holy light-based cosmetics that seems to be the other side of the season. So maybe one side of the season, we're fighting with the Iron Wolves in the Helltides. We have a new reputation track. Maybe you have these new crafted items that could have certain stats on them. And this could be the demonic side. The Iron Wolves are kind of crafting us demonic gear using demon hides or other elements of demons themselves to give us demonic gear. And then maybe there's another element that hasn't been data mined that we're doing something on the light side. Like maybe on the other end, we're following the Templars who were the army of Inarius. And maybe we have a reputation with those Templars as well. Or maybe we're with another faction who's fighting against the Templars who were following Inarius because we kind of became enemies of Inarius and became enemies of some of those Templars as well. Maybe we're fighting against Templars or kind of the light side on one side, and we're fighting with the Iron Wolves to fight against the demons on the other side. There's different possibilities, but I could see either one of these scenarios happening. But that's pretty much all the data mined information we've gotten for the theme of Season 4 for Diablo 4, and I'm pretty excited for this because either way this turns out, the Battle Pass cosmetics are going to be following the seasonal theme, and whether it has Iron Wolves involved in the entirety of the season theme, or the season theme is going to be something else and the Iron Wolf stuff is just like a limited time event or something, either way it sounds like there's going to be quite a lot of different content, and it sounds like it's all going to be very much grounded in kind of the deep, very Diablo-esque elements. But that's all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.